And this is a greater disservice to them. This isn't about me. It's a disservice to voters who will not have the opportunity to make that best informed decision about who our next commander-in-chief should be, because we're not seeing these other candidates bringing to the forefront the issues that I am about, the need to bring this sea change in our foreign policy, to stop waging these wasteful regime change wars, toppling dictators in other countries, this new Cold War, nuclear arms race, all of which are not making us any safer. And instead...
Is she right?
That's why she's not on the debate stage.
Because she doesn't want war?
That's right there. Because look, picture this debate stage. Her talking that, Bernie talking all of his platforms. He'll say the same thing he's been saying for 40 years. And America going, hey, why don't those two? America would connect that thing that we've connected a while ago. America, the undecideds, the independents, the libertarians would go,
How many people do you know that supported Trump like Tulsi Gabbard?
Because here's what they would do. And the Democratic Party knows this. Think of this. The Any Blue Will Do's crowds will go, all right, done.
Yes.
Yes. Give me the young woman of color who's talking that way. All the right-leaning libertarians that are like, maybe Bernie's too much of a socialist, but if she's on the ticket, I'm on board.
And
it unifies the progressives. All of us progressives are then completely unified.
And, again, the term needs to be, I want to say a social democracy. That's that there's democracy within our country. They're not, for goodness sakes, I'm sorry. Let's go back to her. She's articulate.
She's a little too presidential.
She's a leader, and she actually has a strong perspective, and she's not some dithering, dodgy dude who can't put concepts together. Biden has no platform. Biden has no policies. Biden wants you to sit down, shut up, and take the same.
He's not mentally there. I'm sorry. If Bernie was acting this way, I would say, as a Bernie supporter,
absolutely,
Bernie, I'm sorry. You don't have the mental acuity to do this. And I wouldn't be ageist or anti-Semitic or whatever. If my father's 83, he's not there together anymore. He's not all there. He's 83. He's a PhD. He used to speak 3 languages. If he was running for president, I go, Dad, nope. You're not there. We couldn't let him drive anymore. 4 or 5 years ago, he was driving, you're going to hurt somebody. And I don't want you to spend your last years of your life in jail. You have to do this. I'm sorry. Biden is not mentally fit to be the president of the United States of America.
He should not be driving America.
No.
All right, here we go. Tulsi.
Redirect our taxpayer dollars towards really serving the very urgent and pressing needs that the American people here at home, all across the country, are very, very concerned about. Things like the coronavirus, for example.
Well, do you not think that Senator Sanders and former Vice President Biden are equipped to have that conversation without you there?
They're not. They're just not. These issues are not being brought to the forefront. My candidacy, this is the reason why I ran for president, making this issue central in my campaign, making this issue that really bringing the point that the most important responsibility that the president has is to serve as commander-in-chief of our armed forces, to ensure the safety, security, and freedom of the American people. And I can tell you as a soldier, just at a deeply personal level, I know how important that job is and the cost and the consequences of the decisions that are made. And look, I think the American people would be best served by being able to hear my voice on that debate stage. And we're calling for them to allow that to happen.
As of now, the criteria doesn't work. You're not going to be there.
Which, by the way, they just changed it. They just changed it.
They have changed it throughout the race. It would seem at times to include people.
So after Super Tuesday, based on the qualifications, I would have been on the debate stage, and then they changed it.
So though looking at the delegate counts, realistically, there's no path for you to catch up with either one of these men who are still in the race for the nomination. So why should you be on the stage? What are you doing at this point?
Okay. What a great question. You got it. You got to admit that's a solid question to ask. But I still want to point out, this is a part of the election. The rules were in place. She abided by the rules. They changed the rules. They changed the rules to silence her. That is what America should be concerned about.
Screaming about.
Because if Republicans shut out Tulsi Gabbard everybody in the Democratic Party would be shouting at the top of their lungs, look at the misogyny of the Republican Party. Look at the GOP. They look at them. They'll send our boys and girls to war, but they won't support somebody who's now in. So
yeah, everyone would call it exactly. All the GOPs all support the troops, unless a woman's running for president, then they won't do it. The Democratic Party and the neoliberals are the most hypocritical. It's unbelievable. Because here's the thing. Let me like if.
Turn it off.
I turn it off. Tulsi can't be. She doesn't have enough to become president. But what's wrong with having her on stage? Then what's the threat?
Wait a minute.
If she can't get the delegate count, then what's the threat of having her on stage?
And ultimately, isn't all of this just made up rules? Some
Yes.
randomness to be able to circumvent what people want.
You'd say
Nothing awkward about that.
putting you on, but it's no joke.
Do you want to hear a little bit more from my girl?
Yeah, so I want to hear what. So she just said, Tulsi, you don't have a path. First of all, I'll tell you why I think Tulsi should be on.
Right, because that's where that's great. Go ahead.
So here's why Tulsi, and I said this before on another video, the reason why Tulsi should be still running for president is because it's an amazing platform to get your message out about the way you want the country to change. And what happens in a primary is that often you pull the candidate to the left. So she's in the presidential race. If she was saying the same things Bernie Sanders was saying, I would say maybe there is a case for her to drop out. She is not saying the same things as Bernie Sanders. She's saying much different things. In fact, she's the only one telling the truth about what's going on right now with our elections and the election integrity and the meddling in our elections by not only the intelligence community, but also in conjunction with the DNC and the media. She's telling that story in a super clear way. We've covered it. She wrote an article, got published in The Hill, all about what's happening with our elections, who's really meddling in our elections. And it broke it down. And she said if the intelligence community wants to keep saying that the progressive candidate is somehow being boosted by Russia, you must first produce evidence. And so but my point is Bernie's not saying that. In fact, he's saying the opposite. He's saying the intelligence community is right, that Russia is meddling in our... And there's a super valuable voice for her to be on that debate stage because Bernie's not going to say that stuff, and then she will. And then people at home will hear her say that, and they will be able to see the case that Bernie's failing to make. So she's doing that. He's not. Also, I don't know if she would say... but maybe I haven't heard her criticize Joe Biden. A lot of people are saying, why doesn't she criticize Joe Biden? How many fucking people can she criticize at once? Why don't you tell Bernie to criticize Joe Biden for F's sake? He keeps saying, I have a video I'm going to play later on in this show where he agrees with Jake Tapper. He says, no, I think Biden could beat Trump.
He's saying different things this
Why
past
would you
week.
say that?
I know.
Right? You saw him say that to Jake Tapper?
Yes, that was awful. He has been more critical of Biden in his campaign speeches the last 4 or 5 days.
Oh, my God.
Which is brutal, but then he says that on Jake Tapper. That's the thing.
You're not going to compliment your way to the White House, baby.
I'm going to tell you right now, the move Bernie will make on Sunday is he will be standing.
What do you mean?
Well, because it's a seated debate.
He always stands during the town hall.
And every time there's a town hall, and nobody sits down.
They're going to set it up so
they're going to handcuff him because they have handcuffed people in the past.
They have handcuffed people. Yes, I think they would.
And also the other thing too that you bring up is to your point about Tulsi brings policies and platforms that nobody else is bringing. Klobuchar, Mayor Pete, Warren, Bloomberg, they all said the same thing. That's why they're gone. They're not adding anything new to it. So it was like you're losing, get out. Tulsi is adding a different thing. I mean, I said this thing about the primary. I brought up Andrew Yang. He brought up a point that I'm glad he brought up, even though I didn't agree with
I didn't think Andrew Yang was going to win, but I thought he should be in the debate because he's getting people to expand their mind when he talks about UBI. Mm-hmm. And wow, that's a big idea. That's an idea that seems as big as our problems. That's a big idea. So I thought, even though I didn't think he was going to be elected, I thought it was important. I wish he was still in the debate.
Jay Inslee was never going to be president, but he kept talking about Green New Deal and climate change. That was his single issue thing, and he got on stage to bring that up, probably to try to get a cabinet position, like let me be head of the EPA or whatever. Great. That's what a big debate is for.
What did Tulsi just say? As I was walking in, I heard her saying that you won't hear them talking about the coronavirus in this way, right? So that's another thing. I don't even know what the heck it was. I was just coming in on it. I didn't know you were putting this segment together. But let's hear what Tulsi has to say. Why does Tulsi think she should still be in the race?
Because of these issues that I'm raising. It's because of this central point that I've just made and the voices of my fellow brothers and sisters in uniform, my fellow veterans, and fellow Americans who are deeply, deeply concerned about how this long-held foreign policy of the United States of going around and being the world's police, of waging wasteful regime change wars that don't make us any safer, how much it has cost us in American lives and in American taxpayer dollars.
And that's what this president campaigned on too, saying no more of this. We're not going to throw good money and good lives after, you know, the losses that we've had. And he's right now, Afghanistan. I mean, we have this deal with the Taliban that a lot of people are very skeptical of, but it is bringing our soldiers home. He campaigned on that. I mean, he's been making that case.
He campaigned on that, and there were a lot of people.
Okay. Yeah, he campaigned on that. You know that's not happening. You know, here it is, the 4th year of his presidency, and now he has an agreement to pull back our troops 14 months in the future? You mean after the next election? You mean like a frickin' year past the next election?
And
this is not, I'm sorry, Graham, but this is not him fulfilling his campaign promise. This Afghanistan peace agreement is a campaign stunt to say he is fulfilling his agreement when he actually ramped up the troop levels in Afghanistan. He didn't decrease them. Now they say there's going to be a decrease, bringing us down to 8,600 troops in Afghanistan, which will be exactly the number that was when Trump came into office. So he's not getting us out of Afghanistan. That is BS. So don't listen to that news person. She seems like a nice person on Fox News. That is propaganda. I'm sorry, Graham.
Well, yeah, and also the minute they made this truce with the Taliban, we then bombed somebody. We kept the bombing going, and
did
part
not
of
stop.
part of the truce is that we can keep bombing. That's a fantastic truce.
That's a great truce.
Boy, that's going to really bring peace.
So the peace agreement was between the with the Taliban and the United States. Didn't include the government of Afghanistan. Did you know that? And part of the agreement was that the government of Afghanistan would release 5,000 Taliban prisoners, and the president says, "I'm not doing that. We're not going to do that." So there is that just shows you that this is a garbage. This is a complete propaganda peace agreement. Trump has no intention of getting us out of Afghanistan. He wants you to think he is. I'm fulfilling my campaign promise. 4 years later, you left them in Afghanistan. What have you accomplished in these from 2016 to now? What have the troops accomplished in Afghanistan?
Nothing. But he hasn't started any new wars. Oh, wow.
Okay. Okay. He tried. He's trying to start a war with Iran.
Yep.
Believe me. So let's hear what the rest of she has to say.
People who voted for him just because of this issue, because of their concern, because they said we need to end these stupid wars. But the reality is that just in this year alone, we've seen thousands and thousands more of our troops deployed across the Middle East. I agree, the progress being made in Afghanistan is positive. It's good. It's something that should have happened in previous administrations.
It's not happening.
This war has been going on for the last 3 administrations. That is a positive step, and I think that Trump himself and his administration deserves credit for that. We need to continue.
Yeah, no, I have to respectfully disagree with the Congresswoman. He does not get credit for that because he's doing it in the 4th year of his presidency as a campaign stunt. It's not actually going to happen. They're not going to withdraw troops. So there you go. I mean, he might get him down to 8,600, and then that's it.
Yeah, but that's after he already upped the troop count.
Up the less.
That's when he said, I'm going to pull everyone out, and then he ups the troop count.
And then he upped the troop levels.
So, like, if you were a Trump supporter, you've been lied to.
Right.
Repeatedly.
Yes.
You know, he's bombed people. He said, why are we in Syria? And April of 2017, 4 months after he'd been sworn in, he started bombing.
Started bombing Syria, right.
I mean, a year later, he bombed him again.
That's right.
He's left the troops there to guard the oil. I mean, like, we're still in Yemen.
Yeah. So is there more to this that you want to hear, Steph?
No, we're good. We're good right
now.
now.
Is that good? Because I think she answered the question
pretty. Yeah, she did.
Okay, so there you go. That's why she's still in, because other people aren't bringing up the issues she's bringing up. And if they do, they don't bring them up the way she does. And I think it would be a very beneficial for the progressive movement to have Tulsi get national television coverage during that debate. Not only that, I think a side benefit of it would probably boost Bernie, because she could swat down the propaganda that they're going to be throwing at Bernie. She's the only one who called out, said that the news media and the New York Times were despicable. She said that right to their faces. So if you don't think that would be helpful to have her on the stage doing the dirty work for Bernie, again, you're incorrect. Now, again, the whole point of this show is that you don't have to be a genius to see what's going on. That a regular person can see what's going on and they can make smart decisions and they don't have to buy the propaganda, right? Okay? So now, for some reason, a guy like me, who's a self-proclaimed dummy, didn't go to Ivy League colleges, smokes pot when I get up in the morning. Somehow, I was able to scoop the entire news media, establishment news media, and most of the independent news media on Russiagate, on Venezuela, on Syria, again and again and again. I had the Washington Post put me in a news articles calling me all kinds, CNN calling me all kinds of crazy names for getting Syria right. So I'll just go ahead and while everyone else has been wrong, I'll say this: if you're against Tulsi staying in the race, you're wrong again. You know how you've been wrong all along? You're wrong again. And I know, and now you know how, remember I said we got to stop voting for corporatist warmongers? Because if we keep doing this, then we're complicit. And what we are doing is we're going to solidify corruption. We're making it possible, the complete blatant corruption of the Democratic Party. We got to stop voting for this. Remember I said that 4 years ago and the entire left freaked out on me, blamed me for Trump, called me every name in the book? Guess what the left is doing now? They're all saying they weren't going to vote for Joe Biden. You're 4 years too late, fuckface. What is different between this election and the last one? You didn't see how they cheated Bernie Sanders last time? You didn't see it was complete? 100%? You didn't see that? You didn't know about the agreement that Hillary Clinton had with the DNC that Donna Brazile talked about in her book? That it was 100% corrupted? Not a little bit. 100%. The DNC was working for Hillary Clinton. They were not neutral. So, again, so now it's see everybody else who's been hating on me for the last 4 years. It's nice to see Graham and Steph, woman, coming around to dummies' perspective. Because it doesn't take a genius to see what's happening. Most of the people who are beating up on me or unfairly attacking me or criticizing me grew up in cul-de-sacs. They I don't know what it is. Maybe they enjoy abusive relationships. Maybe they don't know what one is. Maybe they haven't been kicked in the balls enough. Maybe they haven't had to ever have a fight in their life. Maybe they haven't had to fight every day of their fucking life. But they missed it. 100%. And I was on it, and I was right. So, have we gotten things wrong on this show before? Yes. Yes, we've gotten factual things incorrect that we've corrected. When I went and covered Lava Jato with Glenn Greenwald when he was presenting the Allard Prize, we didn't know the full story about Lava Jato at that time. So I got that one incorrect. But
you weren't reporting on them.
No,
that
I
was
was
the whole thing. We were covering.
No, I was covering an
that
event.
They attended.
I was covering an event that they attended.
So that's very different.
That's right. I wasn't doing a story on Lava Jato.
Not
I was doing a story on the Allard Prize, and Glenn Greenwald was the keynote speaker. So just go ahead and get ready to be wrong again. Because you're wrong about this. You're wrong about Bernie starting a third party after 2016, which is what he should have done. And now we're in the fight of our lives. And people keep saying that don't the Democrats realize they're risking losing to Trump if they do this and push Bernie? I don't understand how you could watch what's been going on for the last 4 to 6 years, and not realize that the Democratic Party doesn't give a shit about defeating Donald Trump. How many times can I say this? The Democrats' only duty is to defeat the candidate who represents workers. That's it. And you know why that's their only job? Because that's what the donor class wants. And then they don't give a shit. It's a corporatist or a corporatist. They don't care. The only reason they don't like Trump is, as Aaron Matei says, he puts an ugly face. Oh, no, that's what I say. He puts an ugly face on the horrible stuff our government's been doing all along. That's why they don't like him, as Aaron says, because they don't see him as a suitable steward of the empire. So, I'll be willing to, I don't know how we could ever prove this in retrospect, but if you're against Tulsi having a voice in these debates and going at the media with both barrels and going at the corruption in the DNC with both barrels, while Bernie has to push back on propaganda if you don't think that's a good thing, you're wrong. Again. Because you've been wrong about everything. You've been wrong about impeachment. You've been wrong about Russiagate. You were wrong that Bernie shouldn't have started a third party in the fucking first place. You're wrong about fucking all this stuff. Because it doesn't, I don't know what happens when you grow up in cul-de-sacs, but you have a soft brain. Just like the people who are running Bernie's strategy.
And, these are the same people that talk about justice,
right,
and talk about playing by the rules,
right.
And Tulsi Gabbard is about justice,
right.
And she actually did play by the DNC rules to qualify, and it was no easy task for her to get those 2 delegates. And instead of them honoring her, pursuing such a great, I want to hear her message out there, and neither Joe Biden nor Bernie Sanders have the balls to say that woman should be on fucking stage with them.
That would help Bernie. You saw when she was on the debate stage over the summer, it helped Bernie. When she came 100%. Off the stage, you saw the fall off. When the first debate in whatever it was, October, November, that he was on stage without her and they all just started going after him and he had nobody to kind of fight for him because he's unwilling to take these certain fights.
That's right.
I was like, man, do we miss Tulsi Gabbard? I said that after every debate.
And Tulsi will call out the right-wing corporate-friendly framing of all the questions.
Yes.
And we also said months and months and months ago, stop saying these people are your friends.
Well, first of all, he's not stopping.
He's never going to stop.
So we're going to get to that. So there's the, so again, I just want to let you know, if you think there's a reason why Tulsi, who has the clearest voice on all of this stuff, should somehow not be speaking to a national audience when they're going to be lobbying nothing but propaganda at Bernie Sanders, again, you're wrong. I don't know what to tell you.
And you must not like fair play. That's the thing that drives me nuts. It's like Trump and the Republicans cheat, but when Hillary and the Democrats do it, I'm okay with it. You don't get that. You don't get both of those. You have to say the whole system's corrupt and call out all of it, or you're full of shit.
I'm with you, Graham. And Tulsi's calling out her own party, which Bernie does here and there.
Here and there.
Here and there. Again, that's why I think that's another reason why Tulsi should be on the debate stage. That's a good reason why she's in the, I don't know if you guys remember, but at the 2016 convention, who nominated Bernie Sanders was Tulsi Gabbard.
If Bernie said, you know what, it's not fair, Tulsi needs to be on the stage, it would make him look even better.
I know.
All that Warren, he doesn't want a woman to run.
Stand up for a woman.
Stand up for a woman. I'm standing up for a woman of color who's a veteran. She should be on that stage.
It's a win-win for him.
Get it.
I think they just don't want to do push-ups against her.
Oh. Hey everybody, the next live Jimmy Dore show is May 1st in Minneapolis, and then we're going to Chicago. Go to jimmydorecomedy.com for a link for all the tickets to all our live shows, and become a premium member at jimmydorecomedy.com/join. We give you hours of bonus material every week. Thanks for your support.